Alex and I we got booked earlier this year to do shows in Kansas. Has anyone ever been to Kansas? Did someone say yes in a really sad voice? Are you familiar with this John Brown, the historic figure? Tight. Oh yeah, this is cool. Yeah, okay. So we got booked to do a show in Kansas, and I got booked because they forgot to book anybody black. And so they asked Alex if he knew any black comedians. And I love Alex, but he was the wrong person to ask that question. He was like, I don't care. And I found out later I was not their first choice. I was just the only black comic who said yes to go into Kansas. But if you pay my bar tab, I will go anywhere. And that's why I'm in Sacramento. We were there, and I was really excited because there's this guy named John Brown who was from Ohio. He did most of his shit in Kansas, and in a time where people were doing a lot of. So have you guys heard of slavery? Tepid response. He was John Brown, and it's not when people were writing essays about how they hate slavery or just letting slavery happen. John Brown decided to take a sword and start cutting off slave owners' heads throughout Kansas. It went on to be called something called Bleeding Kansas, and it's largely credited as starting the Civil War, which ended slavery. So if anyone ever tells you violence doesn't solve anything, they're racist. And they put John Brown's house in a museum, and I really wanted to go. And I told Alex, I was like, you want to go to John Brown's museum? He was like, fuck yeah. And we went there, and then not a lot of black people go, because the white guy running it was so excited to see me. Like, he was letting me do shit they don't normally let people do. Like, I saw in a case was one of the swords John Brown used to kill slave owners, and I saw it, and I was like, wow. And the guy was like, do you want to hold it? And I was like, boy, howdy, yes I did. And so I'm holding this sword that killed a slave owner, and he's like, how's it feel? And I was like, makes me feel like killing a racist. And he was like, that's what I love about working here. And Alex and I had this great informative time about this legacy in American history they don't teach you about because they don't want you to know that violence is often the answer. And then we're leaving the museum, going to our car, we're walking the opposite direction, and we see across the street from the John Brown Museum is a house flying a Confederate flag. And normally when I see a Confederate flag, it's like, okay, I don't like that, but I'm sure I say things that guy doesn't like, and the First Amendment is a win some, lose some kind of law. But we had just come from John Brown's house. So we were like, we should fuck this guy up. And Alex was like, we should march right up to his porch and tell him to take it down. And I was like, Alex, this is Kansas, we're not going on anybody's property. They can shoot you just for thinking of that here. So we compromised and we stood on the outside part of his fence and shouted, come outside, bitch. Eventually he did. He was like, what are you yelling at me for? We were like, we want you to take that sign down. And he said no, and we said, fuck you. And then he did this very Kansan thing where he reached over and pulled out a shotgun and pointed it at us. And, okay, if you hear Alex tell his version of this story, he makes it sound like what happens next is my fault. But in a greater historical context, who's to say whose fault it was? Because he points a gun at us, and so I do what I think is a responsible American thing, which is reach into my pants and pull out my gun. And that's what I remember you're supposed to tell the people you're traveling with, that you have a gun. And for a second, Alex looks at me like he's going to be like, why the fuck do you have a gun? And then it clicks and he just goes, yeah, if I was black here, I'd carry two. And so now we're both pointing our gun at each other, which I'm not a lawyer, but I'm pretty sure is allowed. Because he's threatened, I'm threatened. As long as no one pulls the trigger, we're in the clear. And then the guy's neighbor comes out with the gun and points it at me, and we're so, I don't want to say Mexican stand-up, we're a progressive crowd. We're in a Latinx stand-up. And he's pointing his gun at me, and he goes, what are you two doing here? And we said, we want him to take that fucking flag down. And that's when the neighbor turns his gun to the racist and goes, I've been meaning to talk to you about that.